Chaos hit the gold medal match. Alexandra Eala challenged bizarre line calls at the SEA Game final, stayed composed through controversy, and still cruised to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Golf Vibes, your #1 destination for explosive, unfiltered, and heart-pounding tennis stories. Because today, we are not talking about a routine defeat, a bad day at the office, or a controversial argument at the net. We're talking about a scandal so shocking it has forced the tennis authorities to make a decision that will echo through the sport for decades. A decision that fans from Manila to Melbourne are calling long overdue justice. Strap yourselves in because this is not just another tennis headline. This is the most controversial disciplinary action in modern tennis history. And at the center of it all stands one rising superstar, Alexa. Just hours ago, an official announcement dropped that sent shockwaves through the WTA and ITF offices, confirming that veteran chair umpire Orly Trude has been handed what insiders are describing as the harshest penalty ever issued to an N-court official. This was not a warning, not a suspension hidden behind closed doors, and not a quiet reassignment. This was the nuclear option delivered publicly, decisively, and without ambiguity. According to the investigation report, Trude was found guilty of professional misconduct directly tied to her officiating during the high-stakes match between Filipino sensation Alexa and American powerhouse Alicia Parks. A match that fans now describe as one of the most painful moments in Philippine tennis history. The governing bodies did not mince words, stating that the official stole a legitimate scoring opportunity from Eala. Language so strong it stunned analysts, former players, and officials alike. Because in tennis, such accusations are almost never acknowledged openly. This was not framed as a simple human error or a momentary lapse in judgment. This was deemed an egregious mistake so severe that it fundamentally altered the momentum and fairness of the contest. Anyone who watched that match knows exactly when everything changed. The atmosphere was electric. Eala was locked in, matching power with precision, playing fearless tennis against a higher-profile opponent, riding the momentum of her career-high ranking until one decision from the chair flipped the script. In an instant, a point that could have shifted the match vanished. The rhythm disappeared and the emotional balance tilted away from the Filipina star. Social media erupted within minutes. Slow-motion replays flooded timelines. Former professionals questioned the call, and Filipino fans felt something deeper than frustration. They felt robbed. For years, tennis officiating has operated behind a shield of silence, protected by tradition, hierarchy, and internal reviews rarely seen by the public. But this time, the backlash was too loud, the evidence too clear, and the outrage too widespread to ignore. The investigation concluded that the mistake was undeniable, and the punishment that followed sent a message tennis has never sent this loudly before. No official, no matter how experienced or respected, is above accountability. While the official result of the match remains unchanged, the ruling serves as a public vindication for Alexa. Proof that what she experienced was real, that her frustration was justified, and that the system, for once, listened to the player. But let's be honest, does this decision truly fix the damage for a player climbing the rankings? Every point matters, every game can define a season, and every match can determine direct entry into elite tournaments. And to have that opportunity taken away by the very person meant to protect fairness is a bitter pill to swallow. The tennis world is now buzzing with speculation that this unprecedented punishment could trigger a complete overhaul of how officials are trained, evaluated, and monitored. Because if a veteran umpire can fall this hard, then the era of unquestioned authority may finally be ending. And while administrators debated consequences behind closed doors, Alex Eala did what champions do. She moved on. No public meltdown, no endless interviews blaming officials, no excuses, just a quiet return to Manila and an immediate focus on what comes next. When she arrived home, the welcome said everything. Cheers, cameras, pride, and a nation standing firmly behind her. This controversy did not break Alexa. It forged her, sharpening her focus, and strengthening her resolve. She now steps onto the court with clarity, confidence, and the knowledge that the truth is on her side, and that combination is dangerous. The referee scandal may have stolen a moment, but it has not stolen her eyes. And as this story continues to unfold, one thing is already clear. Alex Eala is no longer just a promising talent. She is a symbol of resilience, accountability, and the future of Philippine tennis. If anyone thought this controversy would slow Alex down, they clearly do not understand the mentality of a true competitor. Because while officials were scrambling to control the fallout and fans were still dissecting every frame of that controversial call, Alex was already focused on her next mission. And that mission starts at home. Instead of hiding from the spotlight or fueling the drama, she packed her bags, boarded a flight to Manila, and returned to the place where her journey began. Greeted not as a defeated player, but as a national hero. The scenes at the airport told a powerful story. Fans waving flags, phones raised, voices chanting her name. Because in the eyes of the Filipino people, Alex did not lose that match. She survived an injustice. This moment has only deepened the bond between Eala and her supporters. And that bond will be on full display at the upcoming WTA 125 Philippine Women's Open at the iconic Rizal Memorial Tennis Center. For the first time in history, the Philippines is hosting a WTA tournament of this scale. And the timing could not be more symbolic because Alex Eala walks into this event not just as the hometown favorite, but as the face of an entire tennis movement. The lineup is shaping up to be emotional, loud, and historic, with Filipino warriors stepping onto the main stage together. Alex Eala leading the charge alongside Tenny Maydis, Camina, and Elizabeth Abarque, representing a generation that grew up dreaming of moments like this. This is not just another tournament. This is a statement that Philippine tennis belongs on the global map. The draw ceremony is set for Saturday. And by the time many viewers tune in, the brackets may already be locked, but one thing is guaranteed. No player in this field wants to see Alexa's name next to theirs in the first round. Not with a packed Manila crowd behind her. Not with drums beating, flags waving, and emotions running high. The Rizal Memorial courts themselves add another layer to the story. Resurfaced specifically for this event. Playing medium-slow, a surface that rewards patience, construction, and intelligence. Exactly the kind of tennis Eala thrives on. Add the tropical humidity, and suddenly the home advantage becomes very real, especially for visiting players coming from winter conditions in Europe or North America. But Alex is not the only story here. Tenny Maydis arrives fresh off a bronze medal performance at the Southeast Asian Games, a result that proved her growth, maturity, and ability to perform under pressure. Her chemistry with Eala in team events has already been tested, and that confidence could translate into a deep singles run that surprises international viewers. Amina brings a different kind of edge forged in the ultra-competitive UAP collegiate environment where pressure is constant and crowds are relentless. She is comfortable in chaos, thrives on noise, and has nothing to lose, making her a dangerous wild card capable of upsetting higher-ranked opponents. Elizabeth Abarque rounds out the local contingent, carrying the hopes of fans who want to see more than one Filipino flag advancing through the rounds. For Alex, this tournament represents more than ranking points or prize money. It is about giving back, about proving that the controversy did not define her, and about showing young Filipino players that they belong on the stage. Yet, the challenge does not end in Manila. In fact, the moment the Philippine Women's Open concludes, Alex Eala faces one of the most demanding turnarounds of her career. Just hours after finishing on home soil, she is scheduled to jet off to the Middle East for the WTA 500 Mubala Abu Dhabi Open. And this is where the story takes another dramatic turn. Originally, Alex was slotted to receive a wild card into the qualifying draw, a respectable position for a player hovering around the top 50 in a stacked WTA 500 field. But tournament organizers were paying attention. They saw her rise. They saw her impact on ticket sales and global engagement. And perhaps they also recognized the injustice she endured. In a move that shocked many, the tournament officially announced that Alex Eala has been upgraded to a main draw wild card. This is massive. Skipping qualifiers in a WTA 500 event is a game share. It saves physical energy, reduces injury risk, guarantees ranking points, and places her directly under the brightest lights against the very best players in the world. The Abu Dhabi Open field is no joke. We are talking about defending champion Belinda Bencic, an Olympic gold medalist with ice-cold composure. We are talking about Elena Rybakina, one of the most feared servers on tour and a consistent Grand Slam threat. We are talking about former world number 2 Paula Badosa, a powerhouse who thrives on big stages. This is the deep end of the pool and Alex Eala is diving straight in. The schedule is brutal. The margin for error is tiny. But this is exactly the kind of challenge that defines careers. To go from a home tournament fueled by emotion and national pride straight into a global battlefield filled with elite competition is a test of physical endurance, mental toughness, and professional discipline. But if there is one thing this entire saga has proven, it is that Alex Eala does not shrink under pressure. She grows. The referee scandal may have tried to derail her momentum. But instead, it has added fuel to a fire that is already burning brightly. As she prepares to carry the Philippine flag from Manila to Abu Dhabi in the span of days, the message is clear. This is not the story of a player who was robbed. This is the story of a player who refuses to be stopped. Now let's zoom out and understand why this moment matters far beyond one referee, one match, or even one tournament. Because what we are witnessing right now is a shift in power, perception, and possibility in global tennis. And Alex sits right at the center of it. The Mubala Abu Dhabi Open is not just another stop on the calendar. It is a proving ground, a place where reputations are tested and futures are defined. And for Alex, walking into a WTA 500 main draw is a declaration that she belongs among the elite. The field she is stepping into is stacked with experience, firepower, and pedigree. Players who have lifted trophies on the biggest stages and stared down pressure far more times than her. Yet, that does not intimidate her. It sharpens her focus. Look at the names alone, and you understand the magnitude of the challenge. Elena Rybakina brings raw power and a serve that can dismantle opponents in minutes. Belinda Bencic brings precision, timing, and Olympic-level composure. Paula Badosa brings physicality and relentless intensity. Yelena Ostapenko brings chaos, fearless shot-making, and the ability to blow anyone off the court when she is locked in. And then there is Leylah Fernandez, a name that carries special weight for Filipino fans around the world. A potential matchup between Alexa and Leylah Fernandez would not just be a tennis match. It would be a cultural moment. Two left-handers, two fighters, two players with Filipino heritage clashing on a hard court under the Abu Dhabi lights. The internet would erupt, fan bases would collide, and the symbolism would be impossible to ignore. One represents a journey already deep into the tour's elite. The other represents the future knocking loudly on the door. Tactically, it would be a chess match, Fernandez's early ball-taking and courtcraft against Eala's improving power, movement, and point construction. Emotionally, it would be electric. And that is exactly why fans are already dreaming about it. But no matter who she draws, the reality is this. Alex Eala now enters tournaments with something she did not fully have before. Global respect. The wild card upgrade is not charity. It is recognition. Tournament organizers care about results, fan engagement, and credibility. And Alex checks all three boxes. She fills seats, drives conversation, and most importantly, she competes. The controversy surrounding the Orly Trude scandal only amplified that spotlight, but it did not create her momentum. It revealed it. And that brings us back to why the referee penalty is such a watershed moment. In tennis officiating, silence has always been the rule. Errors happen, players complain, and then the system quietly moves on. Rarely are officials publicly disciplined, and almost never are they accused of altering a match in such direct terms. For the governing bodies to state that a scoring opportunity was stolen is unprecedented, and it suggests that the evidence was overwhelming. Video, audio, procedural review, whatever it was, it forced their hand. This is not just about punishing one official. It is about restoring trust in a sport where players stake their livelihoods on fairness. For Alex Eala and her team, this ruling clears something crucial. Doubt. Doubt can poison a competitor's mind, making them question whether losses are deserved or manufactured. That doubt is now gone. She knows she was right. Her team knows they were right. And that kind of mental clarity is dangerous for the rest of the tour because now when she steps on court, she does so with a clean slate. No lingering what if, no unresolved frustration, just purpose. And that purpose is bigger than individual wins. Alex Eala is carrying an entire region with her. Southeast Asia has long been underrepresented on the biggest tennis stages, treated as a quiet corner of the sport. But that narrative is changing. Tournaments are coming. Sponsors are investing. Young players are watching. The Philippine Women's Open at the Rizal Memorial is not just a one-off event. It is a signal. Those courts recently resurfaced sitting inside a complex that has hosted historic cultural and sporting moments are now hosting the future of women's tennis in the region. The humidity, the noise, the passion, it creates an atmosphere unlike anywhere else on tour. Closer to a Davis Cup tie than a standard WTA week, and Alex thrives in that environment. She feeds off energy, off belief, off responsibility. The pressure of representing 110 million people could crush some players, but for her it has become fuel. She understands that every match she plays opens doors for the next generation. That every win makes it easier for the next Filipina player to believe she belongs. That is why her schedule is so telling. Home tournament followed immediately by a WTA 500 abroad. No extended rest, no hiding, no easing into form. This is ambition in its purest form. She is not satisfied with being top 50. She is not satisfied with moral victories or sympathetic headlines. She wants tangible progress, higher rankings, tougher opponents, and real trophies. And here is the final piece that makes this moment so compelling. Justice and momentum have aligned. The referee scandal, as ugly as it was, ended with accountability. The home tournament offers redemption and connection. The Abu Dhabi wild card offers opportunity and exposure. All three forces converge at once. This is how careers pivot. Years from now, people may look back and say this was the stretch where Alex Eala stopped being a promising talent and started becoming a global contender. The Orly Trude incident will fade into history as a cautionary tale, a dark footnote that led to reform. But Alex Eala's rise, that will be the headline that endures. She has the skill. She has the mindset. She has the support. And now she has justice. So the question is no longer whether she belongs on these stages. The question is how far she is about to go. Champions Tennis Family.